Hello, my name is Pastor Kathy Kollar. I'm the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Malabar Farm and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas, Ohio. Greetings. I've just done an entire recording and then discovered afterward that it was not recording. So we're going to start all over again. We are reading through the Bible with commentary. We are in the fourth book of the Bible, which is Numbers: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The first 5 books of the Bible are known as the Pentateuch, sometimes also as the Torah, and are the key core covenant with God, the agreement between God and his people. You do these laws, you do these rules, and you will be my people and I will be your God. Today they're not going to do so well. So we are up to chapter 13 in the book of Numbers. The Israelites have left Egypt, have camped at Mount Sinai, have received the covenant, have built a huge tabernacle, a moving temple, and now they are poised at the edge of the promised land, ready to go in. Chapter 13. The Lord said to Moses, "Send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am going to give to the Israelites. Each from their ancestral tribes you shall send a man, every one a leader among them." So Moses sent them from the wilderness of Paran according to the command of the Lord, all of them leading men among the Israelites. These were their names. From the tribe of Reuben, Shammua, son of Zachar. From the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, son of Hori. From the tribe of Judah, Caleb, son of Jephunneh. From the tribe of Issachar, Igal, son of Joseph. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea, son of Nun, and later we'll hear that's actually Joshua. Joshua, Hoshea, they're very close, almost just a different spelling. From the tribe of Benjamin, Paltai, son of Raphu. From the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel, son of Sodai. From the tribe of Joseph, that is from the tribe of Manasseh. So Joseph was actually become almost like 2 tribes, 2 half-tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, because Joseph had 2 sons. But this leader is from the tribe of Manasseh, Gadai, son of Susai. From the tribe of Dan, Amriel, son of Gamali. From the tribe of Asher, Sethur, son of Michael. From the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi, son of Vopsai. From the tribe of Gad, Geuel, son of Machai. These were the names of the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses changed the name of Hoshea, son of Nun, to Joshua. Moses sent them up to spy out the land of Canaan, and said to them, "Go up there into the Negev and up into the hill country, and see what the land is like, whether the people who live in it are strong or weak, whether they are few or many, and whether the land they live in is good or bad, whether the towns they live in are walled, unwalled, or fortified, and whether the land is rich or poor, whether there are trees in it. Be bold and bring some of the fruit of the land." Now it was the season of the first ripe grapes. So these Israelites have never been to Israel. Their ancestor Jacob, also known as Israel, had left with all his family, moved to Egypt, and they had mushroomed from this family clan of maybe 70 to 100 up to about 2 million people, a long time later. So none of these people have ever been to Israel, which, by the way, is a beautiful country. Verse 21, So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness of Zin to Rehob, near Lebo-Hamath. They went up into the Negev and came out in Hebron, and Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the Anakites, were there. Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. They came to the Wadi Eshcol and cut down from there a branch with a single cluster of grapes. They carried it on a pole between the 2 of them. They also brought some pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Wadi Eshcol because of the cluster that the Israelites cut down from there. So they cut down a cluster of grapes. It was so big that they needed a pole to hang the grapes on the pole and have 2 people carry the grapes between them on a pole. And they call Eshcol means cluster, so they call the Wadi that they crossed Wadi Eshcol. Verse 25, At the end of 40 days they returned from spying out the land. And they came to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation of the Israelites in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him, "We came to the land which you sent us. It flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. Yet the people who live in the land are strong, and the towns are fortified and very large. And besides, we saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the land of the Negev. The Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live by the sea along the Jordan." But Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, "Let's go up at once and occupy it, for we're well able to overcome it." Then the men who had gone up with him said, "We're not able to go up against this people, for they're stronger than we." So they brought to the Israelites an unfavorable report of the land that they had spied out, saying, "The land that we have gone through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw in it are of great size. There we saw the Nephilim, the Anakites come from the Nephilim, and to ourselves we seem like grasshoppers, so we seem to them." So these Nephilim, the Anakites, are so tall, so big, that we seem like we're just little tiny short people in comparison. We can't go and take over this land. We're not strong enough. And of course, we will find a very tall person later when we get to Goliath. But at this moment, they're saying there's a bunch of really tall people there, and we cannot overcome them. Chapter 14. Then all the congregation raised a loud cry, and the people wept that night. And all the Israelites complained against Moses and Aaron, and the whole congregation said to them, "Would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or that we had died in this wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will become booty. Would it not be better for us to go back to Egypt?" So they said to one another, "Let's choose a captain and go back to Egypt." So they've come all this way. They're at the edge of the promised land, and they're like, we're going to die, and they're going to make our wives and our children slaves, and it should have been better just go back to eat. Let's go back. Let's just go back. Let's just give up. Let's just go back. Verse 5. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the Israelites. And Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes and said to the congregation of the Israelites, "The land that we went through as spies is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land that flows with milk and honey." So if the Lord wants us to do this, then he'll give us this land. And we were there. It's a beautiful land. It's worth going into. Verse 9. Only do not rebel against the Lord. Do not fear the people of the land. They're no more than bread to us. For us, their protection is removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them. But the whole congregation threatened to stone them. So Joshua and Caleb come together with Moses and Aaron are like, "No, the Lord can totally support us and defend us, and we can totally do this. Just don't rebel against the Lord." And the congregation wants to stone them. That's where everybody picks up a stone, everybody throws a stone, and all of the stones collectively bury the person and kill the person, and they get stoned to death. The other thing that happened in there is they tore their clothes, which is a way of showing mourning, or in this case, a great anguish. No, this isn't right. We're going to tear our clothes. It's a visible sign of their emotions and how upset they are about what's going on. Then the glory of the Lord appeared at the tent of meeting to all the Israelites. And the Lord said to Moses, "How long will this people despise me? And how long will they refuse to believe in me, in spite of all the signs that I have done among them? I will strike them with pestilence and disinherit them, and I will make of you a nation greater and mightier than they." So the Lord appears, and he's like, "Fine, I'm going to wipe them all out to start all over with you, Moses. I'm tired of them not following me and despising me and being awful toward me. I'm done." Verse 13, But Moses said to the Lord, "Then the Egyptians will hear of it, For in your might you brought up this people from among them, and they will tell the inhabitants of this land, they have heard that you, O Lord, are in the midst of this people. For you, O Lord, are seen face to face, and your cloud stands over them, and you go in front of them in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. But Lord, you're the one that did all this, and everybody knows that this people are following you and that you are present with us. Now if you kill this people all at one time, then the nations who have heard about you will say, it's because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land he swore to give them, that he has slaughtered them in the wilderness. Now therefore let the power of the Lord be great in the way that you promised when you spoke, saying, but before I say that, is so he's saying to Moses is saying to God, everybody's heard about you, and if you do this, then they're going to say you couldn't take them into the promised land. Of course you can do that, God. And what have you promised? The Lord is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, forgiving iniquity and transgression, but by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the parents upon the children to the third and fourth generation. Forgive the iniquity of this people according to the greatness of your steadfast love, just as you have pardoned this people from Egypt even until now. So Moses is reminding God, first off, your reputation will be really damaged. And secondly, your reputation is that you forgive, that you're steadfast and merciful and kind and forgiving. And you really need to forgive these people just one more time. Verse 20, then the Lord said, I do forgive, just as you have asked. So the Lord forgives the people. Nevertheless, as I live, and as all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord, none of the people who have seen my glory, and the signs that I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and yet have tested me these 10 times, and not obeyed my voice, shall see the land that I swore to give their ancestors. None of those who despised me shall see it. I forgive them, but I'm tired of it, and if they despised me, they're not going in the promised land. Verse 24, but my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit and has followed me wholeheartedly, I will bring into the land into which he went, and his descendants shall possess it. Now since the Amalekites and the Canaanites live in the valleys, turn tomorrow and set out for the wilderness by the way to the Red Sea. It's like, fine. You're all not going to go in. Turn around, go back out into the wilderness. Verse 26. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, how long shall this wicked congregation complain against me? I have heard the complaints of the Israelites, which they complain against me. And I want to make a distinction here that it is not a bad thing necessarily to complain. I think all of us have times in our life when life is very, very hard. We go through a valley and we say, why me? Or we cry out to God and we say, I don't like this. But there's a very big difference between complaining about the situation and complaining against God. To say, I don't like what's going on, but I trust you, God, and I trust that you will be with me through what I'm going through and will bring all things to good somehow, that is an act of faith. But to say, nope, God can't do it, God won't do it, and turn away from God to complain against God, that is not an act of faith. So complaining is not usually very helpful, but it's all of us have days where we just want to cry out to God and say, I don't like this. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's an act of faith when you turn toward God. What they're doing here is not that. What they're doing here is complaining against God and saying God can't do this, and God is awful and cruel and mean, and we're going to just turn away from God and say, we're done with that, God, let's go find a different one. So I have heard the complaints of the Israelites, which they complain against me. Verse 28. Say to them, as I live, says the Lord, I will do to you the very things I heard you say. Your dead bodies shall fall in this very wilderness, and all your number included in the census from 20 years old and upward, who have complained against me, not one of you shall come into the land which I swore to settle you, except Caleb son of Jephunneh, and Joshua son of Nun. But your little ones, who you said would become booty, I will bring them in, and they shall know the land that you have despised. But as for you, your dead body shall fall in the wilderness, and your children shall be shepherds in the wilderness for 40 years, and shall suffer for your faithlessness, until the last of your dead bodies lies in the wilderness, according to the number of days in which you spied out the land, 40 days, for every day a year. You shall bear your iniquity 40 years, and you shall know my displeasure. I, the Lord, have spoken. Surely I will do thus to all this wicked congregation gathered together against me in this wilderness. They shall come to a full end, and there they shall die. So the Lord forgives them, but there are consequences for their sin. For them turning away from God is fine. You guys are all going to die, but your children that you said were going to become slaves, they're the ones that are going to enter the promised land. But they're also going to suffer because you did so badly, which is, I think God forgives us, but there are consequences for our behaviors. And sometimes when we do really terrible things, there's consequences not only for ourselves, but for the people we love, for our children and grandchildren. And that, of course, is very hard to have that be the case. Verse 36, and the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land, who returned and made all the congregation complain against him by bringing a bad report about the land, the men who brought an unfavorable report about the land died by a plague before the Lord. But Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh alone remained alive of those men who went out to spy out the land. So the 12 spies, 10 of them died of a plague. Verse 39, when Moses told these words to all the Israelites, the people mourned greatly. They rose early in the morning and went up to the heights of the hill country, saying, here we are. We'll go up to the place that the Lord has promised, for we have sinned. It's like they got half the message. Oh, we screwed up, and the spies all died, and they said we could take the country, so let's go take the country. No. Verse 41, but Moses said, why do you continue to transgress the command of the Lord? That will not succeed. Do not go up, for the Lord is not with you. Do not let yourselves be struck down before your enemies. For the Amalekites and the Canaanites will confront you there, and you shall fall by the sword, because you have turned back from following the Lord. The Lord will not be with you. So the problem is not just that they complain, but they have turned back from following God, and God isn't with them, and guess what? It doesn't go well. But they presumed to go up to the heights of the hill country, even though the ark of the covenant of the Lord and Moses had not left the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites who lived in the hill country came down and defeated them, pursuing them as far as Hormah. So they're like, okay, we're going to go in the land now. It's like, no, you could have gone in the land, and now you don't get to go in the land. So the problem is not complaining. The problem is complaining against the Lord. The problem is not even saying, I don't like this God. The problem is saying that there is no God, or that you hate God and you're just going to never talk to God again. And they're just having a very hard time with the idea of being obedient to God and doing what God tells them. I mean, literally, he says, do the manna this way, and they don't do it that way. And they have to find out for themselves the hard way. So now they are all going to be wandering around the desert for 40 years until they've all died, and then their children will get to enter the promised land. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Go in peace. Serve the Lord. Thanks be to God. So grateful to have you with us. Thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, comment. And if not, then just still thank you for being here. We appreciate you very much. Have a great day.